This is a very strange week for me. Now, you're probably asking why. Well, the answer is simple. Tomorrow is my birthday. It's also the day that marks a major milestone in my life. And with milestones come changes. As I make physical changes in my life, emotional, mental, spiritual changes, they all happen alongside the physicality of change that's taking place. See, that is the beauty of constantly creating the life that you're living. It is the ability to adapt. It's the ability to change, to evolve, to grow, to be perpetually in motion. This week, I'm getting rid of my Range Rover. I know, many of you can't believe you just heard what you heard, but it's true. I am finally getting rid of the old girl. And it is killing me to do that. But that is something that is necessary. And the reason it has become necessary is the cost of the investment I now have to make in keeping the car, keeping the Range Rover roadworthy, keeping it legal. Now, she's nowhere near in her prime. She's certainly not in her best days. And that's another reason why I finally decided to let her go. The problem is, the old girl means far more to me than her value as a vehicle. Because of that, I have invested what I needed to. More so, probably a lot more than I needed to invest in keeping her on the road. Because I am emotionally attached, I am emotionally involved with my Range Rover. Now that sounds ridiculous. How can you be emotionally involved with an inanimate object? Well, the proof of the emotional attachment, the proof of the emotional attachment and the emotional involvement in that is that I have invested in maintaining her, invested in keeping her road legal long after I should have stopped investing. That is the problem that we all have when we are emotionally invested in something, or worse, someone. Every relationship has a point where when we reach that point, we have to reevaluate the cost of investing in that relationship. Now, my car, the Range Rover, the old girl, I'm sorry, I can't refer to her as a car or a Range Rover, the old girl, she has reached the point where the cost of me investing in her far outweighs the value, but it is also a price that I am no longer prepared to pay. The investment is too much now. Emotionally, mentally, physically. It's not just the money, it is the time I lose, the inconvenience of the fact that she's been off the road more than she's been on it this year, the last 12 months. It is what it's costing me beyond the cost of the investment for repairs that is affecting my relationship that I have with the vehicle. So when I apply that aspect, that concept of the cost of investing in a relationship, I begin to reevaluate the very purpose of that relationship. And it happens in every area of our life: business relationships, emotional relationships, spiritual relationships, physical relationships. Is the cost of investing, in other words, when I say the cost of investing, is the price that I am paying to invest in this relationship actually draining more out of me, actually taking away from who I am and what I'm investing, rather than adding value, being of use to me in my life? Now, don't get me wrong. When I bought the Range Rover, I had no intention of ever getting rid of her. She was with me for life. And I had long had a plan that if money was absolutely no object, there is a place in North Wales here where I live in Wales that they take all vehicles or whatever vehicle you send and they fully restore them, they convert them to electric vehicles. The cost of that is actually more expensive than buying a brand new top-of-the-range Tesla. But I was so emotionally invested that I had made the decision that no matter what it took, at some point I was going to send her off up there to have it all completely reconditioned, have it refurbished, have it restored, that was the word I was looking for, and then have it converted to electricity so she would have a longevity and a life for years to come. But the cost of investing now in the position where I'm not ready to do that, I'm not ready to send the vehicle to do that. The cost of investing now is taking too much from me. It is the inconvenience of being without it for months at a time whilst it's in for repairs. It is the inconvenience of it breaking down on the motorway or the freeway, as some might know it, and then having to go through all manner of things to get it to a garage, get it home, all of this kind of stuff. That price for the investment, that's what I'm no longer prepared to make. And as I'm doing that, as I'm letting go of that thing in my life, I'm evaluating every relationship that I've got on the same principle. Are they adding value, or is the investment that I'm making taking so much out of me that now something that I once loved, something that I now that I once enjoyed, has become nothing but a burden to bear? It has become something that is draining the life energy, the soul out of me. It is draining my resources, draining my time, draining my mindset, draining my ability to function and cope. And it gets to the point that I now dread having to make an investment, having to maintain that, rather than the love that I had for being involved in that relationship. Every time I drive the car, I now think, what else is going to go wrong? And I am dreading the next repair bill. So it's time to let that go. So, although I'm over emotionally attached to her, I've made the decision to cut my losses and let it go. And there are relationships in my life, there are relationships in your life, that if you don't make the decision to cut the losses, to step back, to back away, they're going to keep draining you, until there's nothing left. And you despise the thing you once loved so much. See, part of living the wealthy lifestyle that we're building is having wealthy relationships. Relationships that add value, not drain it from you. Every relationship must have a healthy flow, because relationship is always a two-way street. So as I am getting ready to say goodbye to her, I'm reevaluating every aspect of my life. And I do this as often as I can, because somewhere there's at least one, if not more than one, relationship in my life that is costing me too much to invest. Not just the price of the investment, but everything around it that is attached to making that investment. It is draining me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. All of my resources are being depleted simply because I refuse to stop investing in that relationship. Now, the way I describe it is this. There's a movie called Margin Call, and the whole premise of this movie is set around the financial collapse of 2008. And one financial analyst discovers something in a piece of research that he's given, and what it equates to is that the financial institution has way too many what they call toxic assets on its books for it to survive if anything happens. So they go about trying to dispose of these toxic assets to anyone and anybody as quickly as they possibly can. If they don't, the threshold they've crossed, the line that they've gone over that marks their safety zone, means that they will push so far beyond that line that the entire company will collapse. That is what our life is like when we don't dispose of toxic assets that we call relationships. You push beyond the safety zones. You push beyond the boundaries, the markers that you shouldn't go beyond. And in doing so, the thing that we keep investing in, the thing that we over-investing, becomes the very thing that causes our downfall. So ask yourself today, why hang on to something or someone that is costing you more than you're prepared to invest in? Why keep investing in relationships that drain you and no longer serve a fit purpose for your life? I'll be the first one to admit, watching the old girl go, that's going to be sad for me. That's going to hurt me, and it's going to pull at my heartstrings because of the emotional attachment I have. But I can't move on to the next until I let go of the now, because as long as she's here, there's no space for what comes after her. As long as we are holding on to toxic asset relationships, you don't build the relationships you need for your future, because there's no space for that person in our life. Living a wealthy life, having a wealthy mindset, having a wealthy physicality, our health, having a wealthy spirituality means simply knowing when to let go. So today, evaluate, reevaluate, reevaluate again. Look at all of your relationships. Are they healthy? Are they wealthy? Or are you holding on to toxic assets? And if you are, cut your losses. Let them go. I hope that you get value out of what I've said. I hope that you'll give me a thumbs up to show me you like this video, because that helps me help so many other people. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to get notifications, and I will see you in the next one.